Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Connor Ferguson, and I decided to do a video podcast kind of presentation on being the board, which is the 9th practice from the Art of Possibility. So I hope you all enjoy. So in life, we all have the possibility of really running into anything, the chance of getting to where we are trying to strive, or the chance of experiencing the downward spiral of losing, winning, succeeding, failing. But in all that, there still is a chance. So in this chapter, this chance is described as a new kind of responsibility that is yours for the taking. You cannot assign it to anyone else. It is purely an invention, and it strengthens you at no one's expense. So what does that really mean to you? Let's break that down for a second. A new kind of responsibility that is yours for the taking. So in this, you are taking responsibility. You're not assigning it to somebody else, and you're not inventing it. You're not making up these thoughts in your head. You're not falsifying where you really have been, and it strengthens you at no one else's expense. So in taking that responsibility, you're really building upon yourself. You're really highlighting the core of what just happened in your life, and essentially taking the responsibility to learn from it. So that really stuck out to me, like the whole taking responsibility for what you decide to participate in. You can't take responsibility for what others are doing. And the example was the car crash where, you can't take responsibility for the drunk driver, but you can take responsibility for being in the car. And there's the chance that when you get in the car, there's the chance of something happening like that. And in looking back and reflecting on that, the person was able to really gain a better understanding and really cut down and cut away from all the anger and frustration and the hate that they had for another human, when the reality is you can only be responsible for what decisions you make, even if it puts you in a hard situation. So in changing this perspective to be focused on yourself and your choices, you really get rid of that inner person that's like, oh wow, this person affected me. And the reality is, like, it takes two to be in a situation. Yes, the car driver was drunk and it was unfortunate to get hurt in that situation, but the reality is you did get in the car. You are responsible for your decision to get in that car, and you can't really take the blame away from the other person, because the reality is there should be no blame in the first place. So in taking that blame away, you really have a chance to take a stronger approach to understanding yourself. I know in my life experiences, I have always gone about looking at it from, oh wow, this happened, it was a rough hand, I will become stronger from it. And then after reading this chapter, my perception really was the same, but at the same time I had the realization that I was still putting the blame on others. I think a lot of us can still identify with that. We tend to blame others, but in reading this chapter, we have essentially the possibility to change that perspective, to really grow a lot more than we have the chance to. So another quote that really stuck out to me was, gracing yourself with responsibility for everything that happens in your life leaves your spirit whole and leaves you free to choose again. So in that, when we put the blame on other people, we really aren't adding grace to a situation. We're really adding hatred and anger. So how do we add grace to everyday situations? I was talking with one of my residents, and being an RA, our goal as resident assistants is to make a difference in the community. And we were talking, and she made mention to not doing well on an exam. And the reason she said she didn't do well is because her teacher didn't really take the initiative to really explain what was going to be on the exam, and taking the responsibility to own her decision. So 2 weeks before her next exam, she decided she was going to go in and talk to her teacher. She ended up getting a 98 on the exam when the class average was a 72, and she was able to create a relationship with her professor that she's able to fall back on in the future. The professor actually offered her a TA position in the coming semesters if she was able to get a B or higher in her course. And currently she's sitting at a 92. So hopefully that that situation will play out for my resident in the future. So in her situation, she couldn't change how her professor was going to go about preparing the class for the exam. And when she understood that, her horizon was broadened. Her relationship was reknit, and the outcome is making a huge difference in her life right now. So in all of our opportunities and all of our experiences, we learn about the board. We choose not to identify with pieces, and we choose to really look at the board, look at each individual square, and look at literally the plethora of opportunities that any piece at any time could land on the board, given the rules and the circumstances. And we learn about the difficulties in our lives, as well as the opportunities we strive to complete. And overall, we are responsible for how we choose to react and how to develop after. We are not in control of others' lives. I know sometimes that can be a very mind-boggling thing, that we're different from a lot of other people, and it's hard. And we may not even have an influence either, but we can own our choices and end up making a difference on the board of life, in our lives and in others. So on a closing note, next time you are presented in a situation that you don't understand, reflect on why you're there and reevaluate your positioning. I believe that the whole point of the 9th method of being the board is to really understand that you have the chance to make a difference in others' lives. And it's all about deciding how you're going to do that. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.